welcome back to Queensland League Scene for episode 3 of this epic show. We are going to look at the round that just was in our rearview mirror, which is round 1 of the Hostplus Cup.
Yeah, well, my little robotic friend there has got through the introduction very nicely, as always. What's going on there? But yeah, round 1 is over, but there's a couple of upsets as well, so we'll go through the rounds. And obviously the first one up was the Tigers, not an upset, went down to Piggabeen, took the Chocolates, 20 points to 16.
Played some really good football, did the East Tigers there. I'm liking some of their new signings this year. BJ Afuamanga Tomoga obviously played outstanding with 3 tries out on that right wing. I think through the middle, Wesley Lola had a great game as well. And of course, the Storm recruit, Jaden Nikarima, providing an intercept try. So really good signs from the Tigers early on in the season.
Yeah, good start there for the Tigers. They need to get those wins, bounce back from last year. The Hunters up against Cutters. I picked the Cutters to win this one. It was 16 points to 10. They got the Chocolates to Cutters.
Mate, it's one of the first few episodes, but can I say I told you so already? How good were the Hunters on the weekend? And you know what? Sneak preview, I'm backing them again this week.
There you go, tips early. So, Jets, Pride. Jets usually strong at home, absolutely got pumped by the Pride. They're 26 points to 6 there. Julian Christian scores first in the 3rd minute, and from then it was all downhill.
Yeah, really strong game from the Northern Pride. They're typically really good at the start of the season, are the Pride. I thought they'd perform really well. So they had a cracking start to their campaign in 2022.
Dolphins against the Falcons. We're going to talk about this game? Come on, mate. Take your medicine.
Look, mate, always the darkest before the sun.
Hey,
that's all I'm saying.
All I can say is what's on paper means absolutely nothing. The Dolphins had an absolute crackerjack side on paper, but the Falcons, well, they don't care what's on paper. We know what to do with paper, especially in the bush. That's what happened there, and the Falcons 24 points to 4, mate. Big win. Well,
the Falcons do what they do best at the start of the season. They had really good line speed, really good contact, had numbers in the tackle, and a really great performance, a typical performance by the Falcons, and it's a really good start to their campaign as well. But they're going to be surprising this year, I think, the Falcons. They'll have a very good season.
The KO match of the round last weekend between the Winner Seagulls and the Bears. Well, the man on debut scores 4 tries, but wasn't enough for the Bears to take the Chocolates. And it's always been a bogey side for the Winner Manly side. Apart from the semi-final last year, the Bears, I think, have won like 9 out of the last 10 games. They just don't want to give that picnic basket up.
Yeah, well, Sam Costa, he told us last week that they had a really cracking side and they were confident what they were going to roll out, and what a side they did trot out on Sunday to defeat the Winner Manly Seagulls. But as you mentioned before, it's not all doom and gloom over at the Cougarai Oval, because Dean Mariner, what a debut, forfer, and future's bright for the Broncos.
And he got match of the match in the losing side.
He did get man of the match in the losing side. Very impressive there by young Dean, and I'm looking forward to see him develop his rugby league across this season.
Magpies got away to a fly in the first half. They were leading 16 points to 6 at half time, but the Capras came back. It was 4 tries apiece. Conversions were the difference, but they get the 2 points. The Capras, 24 points to 22 at Davies.
Yeah, really excited to talk to Jack Madden later in the program as well about this game. But Capras getting off to a flyer against a really strong South side from last year. Again, a really big pack they had, the South Logan Magpies, and the Capras come away with the Chocolates. So well done to Central Queensland. Looking forward to see what Jack has to say later on.
Yeah, Jack Madden scored their try in the 33rd minute, the first one for the Capras, but it was Ezra Mann who got a couple to start things off there. And the final game, the Blackhawks up against the Premiers, the Devils, 38 points to 14. Interesting thing about this game here, Cam, we're talking about, Taylor, is the Devils, most of the tries came from players who have just recently been playing BRL. So the pathways from the BRL competition, the 3rd tier competition, into the North's Devils, the Hostplus Cup, 38 points to 14, not easily done up at Jack Mansky Oval.
No, it's not easily done, especially up there in the humidity in round 1. It's very hard to go and play those Northern Queensland sides early in the season. Rashawn Denny played an outstanding game on the wing there, who of course played for the Valley's Diehards in Brisbane competition last year. So Rashawn's doing really well with his opportunities there in the Hostplus Cup.
All right, and the tough trip obviously for the North. They had to fly up early in that morning, take their antigen test, get up there. Their flight was delayed, and they got home at 2 o'clock in the morning or something. So tough assignment for the Devils, but they got the 2 points. Mate, speaking of which, the Capras, a good win against North. You caught up with their skipper.
I did. I caught up with Jack Madden.
Is he the skipper?
He is the skipper.
So he should be.
Mr. Madden, he is the skipper. Skipper and halfback there. He's been the skipper for a couple of years and led that side around brilliantly. So, yeah, this is what I had to say when I caught up with Jack.
Yeah, all right. As mentioned, we have Jack Madden here, the halfback and captain of the Central Queensland Capras. Jack, what a win on the weekend.
Yeah, mate, it was a good win. Good start to the year. Yeah, we're all very happy with the win. We made it hard on ourselves, but I think the main thing is, yeah, we come away with the win.
You got it done. It was a really good come from behind victory. You were down 22-6 at one stage early in the second half. What changed for you guys to turn a switch and get it done?
Oh, I don't know. I think completing sets helps. We were struggling there for most of the game. The last 20 minutes or so, we completed 11 of 13 or something. There's no coincidence. Yeah, we strung a few tries together, and I think, yeah, that's the main reason, completing a few sets. And, yeah, we've found a way to win. Where in the past, yeah, we've probably found a way to lose. So it was good to be on the other side of it for once.
Yeah, well, mate, you've been captain up there since 2018 now, a long time, and it seems like you've got a really good young batch of blokes this year. So it's promising to come away with a round one win. What are your thoughts on this year and the insights you have on these young fellas? Can they make a real impact up there in Rockhampton?
Yeah, mate, I've said this before to a few people. I think this is the strongest squad that I've been a part of here at the Capras. You know, we've got really good depth. What Lionel Harbin, our new coach, but he's created for us players to come in and train. I think it's been really good, him and his coaching staff. And yeah, I feel very positive about what's ahead. I think I think we're in for a big year. It's just a matter of putting it on the footy field, I suppose. Yeah, we got plenty of young fellas. I'm probably the only sort of older head, and I hear about it. But now I think we're in for a big year. It's just, yeah, a matter of putting it on the footy field.
Well, mate, you are one of the old heads, but you're younger than Reece Baker, surely. He's been around since Jesus played. He's been donkeys.
Yeah, I was pretty happy when he actually come back. Or after Chrissy come back, he approached Harbour and wanted to come back. And, yeah, I actually was into him as soon as he come back that you're the oldest now, mate. You're the vet. So, yeah, no, he's been rolling around in Q Cup since bloody 2010 or something silly. So, yeah.
Yeah, I looked at the stats after the game. I went through your whole team list. And I think you're the second highest capped on 73 games, and he's on 76 games. So he's got you by 3 games there. But good to have a couple of old heads in the side to steer the young blokes around, especially in the spine.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I think you need those experienced blokes. I think round one, obviously, last week, it was the first time that I can remember that every player that's from 1 through to 17 has actually played a game of cup. So that was really big for us. We didn't have any debutants, so all that sort of stuff helps. So
yeah, mate. We spoke a little bit off camera about the exciting partnership you guys will have with the Dolphins franchise next year. The opportunity to get players back directly from an NRL system. What sort of change do you think that's going to make in your outfit each week, and what sort of confidence will that give the blokes from Rockhampton to progress into the NRL?
Yeah, I think that's got to be massive for our club moving forward. That affiliation and an actual proper affiliation where we're going to get players back every week, which is definitely going to help our side. I think it'll help as well keeping the young kids here. They can see there's a direct pathway there, and hopefully that entices them guys to hang around and play their footy here, and we keep our good local talent instead of them guys getting poached and going down south. So yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah, all right, mate. Well, thanks very much for your time and coming on Queensland League Scene. Massive round one for you guys. Hopefully you can push forward again against the Hunters this week and make it 2 from 2 and one of the best starts the Capras have had in recent memory.
Yeah, we'll be doing whatever we can to get that win, this weekend against PNG. Thanks, mate.
All right, thanks, Jack. Take care, mate.
Lee Addison, mate. What's going on? Some sad news, I hear.
Yeah, some really sad news today out of Lee Addison, unfortunately, for some of his comments around the cricket last weekend. He's been deported back to England Some would say rightfully so.
Yeah.
But certainly a sad day on the Queensland League scene. Regardless, I did catch up with Lee, and he had some comments about the Redcliffe Dolphins last weekend and where they can improve coming into the North round this weekend.
Do you have a bath for him?
Oh, what, sorry?
A bath.
A bath? For who?
Lee Addison, the English.
He'd need to have a bath.
Oh,
maybe that's why they deported him. He hasn't had a bath since he's come over.
That's the British for you.
Lee Addison back again for another analysis of, this time, the Redcliffe Dolphins Football Club on their round 1 loss to the Sunshine Coast Falcons. Lee's, of course, from rugbyleaguecoach.com.au and is here to share some light. Lee, what can you tell us, mate? You're not in the country yet. Did they finally kick you out back to England? Or
Mate, I'm sorry I can't get in the studio this week or next week, so you'll have to do it from my studio. When we're recording, I've actually got a couple of aim higher clinics in Narang. I've got 2 more to go, so a shout out to all the kids there at Narang who have no doubt started tuning into Queensland League Scene every week. But just for the next 2 weeks, I'll be busy during those times, mate. So this will have to do us.
That's right, mate. The lighting's just as good. You look beautiful as ever.
Mate, like you said, had a look at Redcliffe. And I've got to be honest, mate, I'm a little bit worried about them. I know as an old Redcliffe boy, you might not want to hear that. But there's a few things I saw in their performance just in the first few minutes, to be honest. I think hopefully they've done a lot of work this week. When I show you, mate, it'll start to become clear. They got beaten by 20 points at the weekend. So they've really got it all ahead of them to try and topple the current premiers, haven't they, this weekend?
Yeah, it's a massive task for them to go to Bishop Park and beat the premiers, defending premiers this weekend. They'll have to be up to the task, that's for sure. So hopefully Scott Murray might be watching Queensland League Scene and adopting some of your tactics for this week.
He's a good bloke, Scott. I've coached against him a few times, know him well. So, yeah. Let me share my screen with you, mate. Well, Taylor, as a bit of a theme at the minute, I'm looking at the first few minutes of each game with methodology that if a team doesn't know what the coach wants them to do in the first 5 minutes, then they're in a bit of trouble. This is the first set that Redcliffe have in the game. And one thing I found, I might start that again, mate, because it wasn't on mute, sorry.
Of course.
So, Taylor, just continuing our theme, what I'm trying to do is look at the first 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes of a game with the methodology behind me that if a team doesn't know what a coach wants them to do in the first 10, 20 minutes of a game, then when do they know? You know, it's they're playing catch up after that. I'm going to roll the tape. This is the first set Redcliffe had of the game. And the big thing that jumps out to me, Taylor, is how overly basic it is. It worries me a little bit. If you look at their shape, they're actually quite bunched around the ball. I'll just pause the tape there. They're in shape, or they will be in shape soon. And it's almost like they want to do push through the defensive line. But it's very readable, and the opposition defence can actually really bunch up if they want to. I mean, the opposition decide not to really here, but they can. I mean, look at that shape there, Taylor. They can really bunch up there, and they know where the ball will be going. It's not going to be going too far wide. And straight away, I mean, if I'm coaching against that this week, then I'm jamming my defence in. I'm getting bodies in the tackle because I find it quite readable, because it looks to me like they're trying to play a sort of game where they push in around the ruck and try and get a tip on here, there, and everywhere. The other thing I noticed too was the discrepancy in some of the ruck width. So this player who's just took in the hit up, he's actually just been taken by the marker. Now, in my mind, markers are 2 men or 2 women if it's the girls' game that the game allows to be offside. Why not run wider of the ruck so that you get away from them? So they're negligible meters. The play before was nice and wide and it was fine. So there's an exit set that I think could have been maximised. We're now looking at their good ball. Taylor, I want you to tell me how many times you notice Redcliffe pass the ball more than twice in a play.
Okay, let's have a look.
And I've got to be honest, I was quite alarmed by their lack of vision here. And
Yeah.
I mean, they're just trying to bash the ball through the middle, aren't they, so far?
Yes.
Now, let's play devil's advocate. Maybe they're setting up in the middle. So if they're setting up in the middle, I'm starting to look at defensive numbers either side of the play the ball. The opposition putting either no marker or one marker. But look, another crash ball again now.
Yeah.
If you're going to do that, I expect to see some points, or I expect to see somebody putting on some real burners to get over the line. Another one pass play. And they don't go past either tram line on either side.
No.
Now
they're really quite punched through the middle. And even even their fullback and all their spine is just really in that middle channel.
That's
There's
right.
no threat to the external sides.
Yeah, we're in the first 5 minutes of the game, and surely the coach's instructions are ringing out. Now, the lack of vision here on some of these clips, because as I've said to the viewers before, I count numbers and count heads. Now, another pass or two there, and they're at the wing. They're outside the wing.
Well, that winger there is Nat McGavin from the Sunshine Coast Falcons.
Yeah.
Justin Worley and his winger would have been on the outside. So the space is there.
So they're not looking up, like their eyes are firmly fixated on the middle third of the field, it seems. Have you seen them pass the ball more than twice yet?
No, not yet. No, there's been no more than 2 passes each time.
Another hit up again. Now, this is very easy for the Falcons to defend. And I'm pretty sure that the Devils are going to be able to defend this too. They've got to show some more firepower, give the ball more air in opposition good ball at the very least. I mean, look at this. This is the halfback. A couple more passes and they were in space and they were in the corner. But they're not even, look, the halfback's got the ball here and he carries the ball to the line. I mean, are they trying to do 5 settlers for a settler to score?
Maybe they're not used to not having me in the side crash over for them.
So, as you can see, in that good ball set there, or 2 good ball sets because they got a repeat set, absolutely nothing in terms of enterprise. Now,
if you're coaching the Redcliffe Dolphins this weekend, what sort of plays and what sort of conversations are you having with your men on the Wednesday night field session that's going to help them to keep that eyes up and play that sort of football? What sort of, can I say, drills do you have up your sleeve that can help coaches to expand their vision?
I'll be honest with you, Taylor. I feel that it's not a quick fix. And so, as you know from playing under me in the past, I love decision-making drills, 3v2, 4 versus 3, even 3 versus 3 or 4 versus 4, just so that players are recognising the defensive movements of the opposition. I do promote, though, the use of the football in my teams, and I actually actively encourage my players to look up at the defensive line. And I think sometimes we don't teach our players how to look up. What are they actually looking for? So, for example, if you've got to play the ball in the middle of the field and there's 2 markers and 1 fullback, that leaves 10 men in the defensive line. Quite often, a defensive team will leave 4 on one side of the play the ball and 6 on the other. So you've got to encourage your players to recognise what they're looking for. They're looking for that 4. I remember when I was at Penrith under Matthew Elliott, they literally had a call that was called 4, which meant there was only 4 players in the defensive line, so attack them. Whether they could recognise that or not was another matter, and you need good shape. And I think it's just repetition of drills like the ones I've explained, games, conditioning games, but also games for understanding. And as you know from back in the day, I love 13 versus 13. I love scrimmage. Go against your reserve grade, and if your players don't find space, if they don't get the ball to space, or if they don't look up at least, give a turnover, let the reserve grade have the ball. That's how I would develop it. And what I've also done this week, Taylor, rather than just look at the attack or just look at the defence, I've actually included this defensive clip as well, because we've just had the start of the game. Redcliffe basically dominated for best possession for the first few minutes. They're now going to have to defend a tap on the 20, and look how much urgency they lack.
Yeah.
And already the opposition have got some good meters. The defensive structure, again, I mean, we've had a look at Wynnum. we've had a look at Burley defending. They were killing the rucks far better last year than these guys here. Now that third ruck isn't too bad. You'll see something in a minute that's a real concern. Now, I'm actually going to rewind that and go back to where it happened, just so we can try and make some sense of it here. As I freeze the tape here, what's clearly not happening is the relationship between the A defender, the B defender, the A defender, and the markers. They're either not completely sure of what their job is and what their role is in this moment in time, or it's a massive miscalculation, because what possibly should happen is the markers should sort of hold their position, the A should tie in, the B should tie in. Instead, we've got these gaping holes in the defensive line, and you can tell just by the body language the markers are rushing out, the ball gets turned back inside, and that is absolute carnage. For the first defensive set of the game for you, that's not a good outcome. And they nearly score, the Falcons, and already Redcliffe are on the back foot. Now, at this juncture, I've got to be honest, it sounds like I'm really going to town on Redcliffe.
Yeah.
Right? Scotty's a good coach, and you can tell by this defensive set now on the goal line. So they're defending their own goal line. That defensive team you've just seen, have a look at how composed they are on this line. They're actually not that bad. The numbers are okay. They operate with two markers. Their opposition operated with one in this area, but that's fine. All of a sudden, the A's and B's were tied in then. I do have a bit of a doubt about the spacings, but nonetheless, this is a defensive line that all of a sudden looks like it knows what it's doing, doesn't it?
Yeah, they're working together. You can tell they're communicating as well.
That's right. And they gave away a penalty, which isn't great, but nothing came of it. So, mate, yes, it did sound like I'm going to town on Redcliffe then, I admit that, right? Full respect for their coach and full respect for their club. Maybe they did absolutely everything he didn't want them to do in the first few minutes of the game, right? But it seemed to me that they were instructed to not worry too much about field balance, but put in shape around the ball coming out of exit. To me, that makes them very readable. In good ball, especially early in the game, I would like to see them promote the ball a bit more, at least pass it 2 or 3 times, shift the ball to the other side of the field, have some people moving around the ball. I mean, I think there was 3 attempts at a crash over try.
Yes.
If you want to do a crash over try, you need a real good prop in your team, like a Petros in a receiver, a Matthew Lodge or a Taylor Brown, don't you?
That's right. All three classic props that play for the Redcliffe Dolphins.
So I just wonder if they came out a bit of sleep then.
Sorry, mate. Scotty's just on the phone to me now. I'll have to take this one.
Nah, he's a really good bloke and a really good coach, and I totally do wish him well. Of course I do, but mate, if I'm looking at the opposition coach, I find them quite readable. And you know, we're recording this midweek for a Thursday release. We can only assume Scotty's done loads to fix that during this week, but North will be licking their lips looking at that.
Yes, well, we all know that Rowan is a very attack-heavy coach, and I dare say that his video session might be just a lion licking his lips for this weekend. But if you're in that Redcliffe dressing shed for the video session that was probably last night, I reckon that would probably hurt as well.
Mate, what I will say is that if you are Rowan and if you are North, try and attack Redcliffe before they get near their own goal line. That's a very common thing. A lot of teams sometimes, if their mentality isn't great in defence, they don't switch on defensively until they get near the goal line. Because obviously, if you fall off a tackle there, you concede a try. Did you see the difference there in the first few minutes of their defence? The first 80 metres of defence wasn't great at all. Possibly extreme examples. But ultimately, I mean, as we've seen in previous clips, the first 5 minutes of a game can win you or lose you a game. This is the third highest competition in the world, third toughest competition in the world. I expect to see better from players around that time.
As we all know, last round was the exciting opening round for the Hostplus Cup. And coming forth this weekend is the exciting opening of the BMD Premiership. I understand you caught up with Kimi Hunt.
Yeah, the Winner Manly Seagulls, they've entered the side in the QRW, sponsored by BMD, and Kimi Hunt is playing on the wing. But, exciting times. Trials are over. Pre-season's done. It's time to lace on the boots and go nuts. They're up against the Burleigh Bears. Tough assignment against the Premiers.
Very tough assignment.
But here's Kimi Hunt. She seems confident, and here's what she had to say. This weekend, the BMD QRLW kicks off round one, and a newcomer to the competition is the Winner Manly Seagulls. And joining me is probably will end up being Player of the Year. It's Kimi Hunt. How are you, Kim?
I'm very good, thank you, John. I don't know about Player of the Year, making a return, so it'll be interesting.
You can't make a liar out of me. See how you go. Hey, listen, exciting times. I haven't seen you for a few years. You had a bad knee injury there a while back, but you fought back to get back into the boots. Are you keen to get out there on Saturday, although it is the Burleigh Bears?
Yes, very keen. It's been, I think, 3 years since I've come back to footy. So I'm pretty eager to rip in. It's been pretty good pre-season as well.
All right, you played the Brisbane Tigers, East Tigers over there one day. It was a low-scoring game there in warm conditions. How'd you fare after that?
Oh, the body held up. Oh,
yeah.
It's pretty rough. Like getting used to getting back playing again under pressure, especially with the heat at that time of the day. Yeah. But the girls did great. Like to go out there and run around in that sort of temperature.
It will be interesting to see how you use your bench. Ronnie Troutman, he's a renowned coach, BRL. He's got a few premierships there as well, so he's come back to you guys. He's a funny little fella. I'm not talking about because just to look at, but he's got a great temperament.
He does. He's very good. To come across and coach a women's team, I think you've got to have, a pretty good personality and to be able to manage a lot of women too. And he's done such a great job with all the girls.
Yeah, we did the under-19s last year as well. So you've got players to come to draw on. Some of these have had experience. You only just missed out playing under-19s last year by a year or two, I'm sure. So I guess there's players to draw on from that competition.
Yeah, we've actually got some girls coming through that have, phenomenal talent, which is awesome to see like that pathway for young girls coming up. There's actually a few running on bench this weekend, so it'll be interesting to see them go with the older girls.
You're up against the Burleigh Bears. They're the premiers. They've won the last 75 titles, except when the Panthers beat them a few years ago. You probably remember very well. But they've got a lot of players playing NRLW, so you've got a chance against the premiers.
Yeah, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it now. Well, they're all away. Most of them are playing NRLW at the moment, so it'll be interesting to see how we go. But we're a fairly fresh team too. First year, obviously, Winner Manly's put in a women's team, so we've kind of all come from over the shop and come together. So we're finding our feet. So it'll be really interesting to see how we go against them.
Yeah, and you're spot on, actually, because all the other clubs have also had players going to the NRLW, which is expanding. So obviously we're going to lose some players to higher levels, which is what Pathways is. And obviously there's aspirations for players to play in the NRLW. It must be really exciting times to be a female rugby league player.
Yeah, definitely. I remember when I first started out rugby union, pathways were just beginning, but then making that transition over to rugby league and seeing how much support there is for women athletes, it's phenomenal. There's so many different pathways and there's so much support from all these clubs with women athletes, which is phenomenal.
As I say, you're up against the Burleigh Bears. Jasmine Kemp, they've got a couple of quality players there. You've got, I think, in the front row, your skipper's the front rower?
Yes. No, hooker, sorry.
Yes, yeah. What was her name again? I missed it.
Patrice Chambers.
Patrice Chambers. Now, she played for the West Brisbane Panthers, if I remember rightly, as well. So she's got experience. Jasmine Kemp. So it's how will I say it? It's not going to be for the light-hearted because Patrice is a feisty little customer. And like I said, and I've asked this to a few players. I mean, which player is going to get marched for 10 minutes for back chat? And I reckon Patrice will probably be number one candidate, apart from yourself.
Well, that's right. Well, she come from Valley Diehards, you see. They were in the grand final last year, so she's got a lot of experience, a lot of good chat, and definitely a ball of energy when she's out on the field.
All right. Where were you think you'll be playing, Kim?
So this week, Trouty's got me running on a wing, which is good, especially coming back from an injury, and coming back out on the wing. I'm fast, I'm strong, so looking forward to it.
All right, then. Left or right? So for those with the checkbook?
Left.
Left wing, there you go. So, all right, Burleigh Bears, BMD QRLW is going to kick off this weekend up against the Premiers. Winner Manly are back in the competition. or in the competition. Souths are back as well. So it's 8 weeks, 8 tough weeks. Kimi, hopefully when I talk to you in 8 weeks' time, you look exactly as you do right now.
I hope so. Maybe more grey hairs, but
No, that's Trouty. That's Trouty's job. You don't have to worry about it out there. See how you go. So, all right, ladies, you know what I say? You first try scorer, first point scorer. Put all your money on Kimi Hunt. We were playing on the wing for the BMD winner Manly Seagulls. All the best, eh?
Thanks, John.
There you go. Kimi Hunt, very excited to get out there and play some footy in the Seagulls colours. Played rugby union, as she mentioned. So, yeah, that starts round 1. We're up to round 2 on the Hostplus Cup. And this weekend, first up, mate, the Seagulls and the Pride. Pride, a big win last week against the Jets. Seagulls going down to the Bears. How do you see this one?
Yeah, this will be a really good clash, I think, John. I believe that the winner Manly Seagulls will get this one done against the Northern Pride. They were a bit unlucky last weekend to have a 4-try debutant and still miss out on the chocolates. I think they'll right the wrongs of round 1 and get it done in round 2.
Yeah, this is going to be played at Iona College. So they played last year's first round against Tweed down there as well. Great facilities there. Iona College, get on down there and watch this game. The Seagulls up against the Pride. I'm going to go with you for a Seagulls win. Capras win last week. Hunters a win last week. This time it's back up at Brown Park. Capras, I'm going to tip them to win against PNG because I think they did really well against a star-started South Magpies last week.
Well, I feel like I should go for the Capras as well because I went against Sam Costa last week with Burleigh. They got the chocolates, but I do believe that it'll be the Hunters getting the win over the Capras this weekend up there at Brown Park. I think they'll start this year off with 2 from 2.
Did you tell Jack you were going to go for PNG?
I didn't tell Jack that I was going for PNG at all. It's just not something you say to people's faces sometimes.
Exactly right.
I bet with my head, not my heart.
There you go. You have no heart. He's the Tin Man, as they call Taylor Brown. Blackhawks up against the Bears. This is a Jack Mansky Oval. The Blackhawks going down, obviously, to North last week. The Bears were a win against Winner Manly. So, yeah, Blackhawks at home. Jack Mansky want to bounce back at home. You want to win all your home games and half your away to get in the semis. I think that's the theory.
It's a general consensus, yes.
How do you see this one, mate?
Mate, I actually think I'm going to go with the Bears as well, again, for this one. I think the Bears were very impressive last weekend. If you can beat Wynnum at Wynnum, especially early in the year, I think you're going very well. So I'm going to go with Burleigh to get the chocolates again against the Blackhawks.
All right, yeah, I think I might go with the Blackhawks to win at home in this one up at Jack Mansky. So there you go, they'll bounce back. Happy won't be happy with what's happening on there, and Aaron Payne will get his troops fired up. The Jets up against the Cutters. The Jets disappointing last week against the Pride. They come up against the Cutters, who did well against the PNG Hunters. Not quite good enough to get the chocolates. The Jets again, they're at home. They need to win, and as we said, win home games. How do you see it?
Yeah, they need to get off to a bit of a solid start here, the Jets, and try and get one up in the first 2 rounds. I do, however, believe the Cutters will get the job done on Saturday, because I just think they had a really tight game against the Hunters. That sort of physical match is going to prime them for the season, and I think they'll snap out of it and get the Jets.
All right, I'm going to go for the Jets at home. They'll start throwing it around and see what they can come up with. And, yeah, Cutters, you've got to go against you, mates. You've got to get one right. Here we go. Magpies, Brisbane Tigers, 2 of the longest-serving clubs in rugby league. Magpies, well, they turned their back on the Capras, got dust at the end, 4 tries apiece, but the conversions were the difference. Tigers very good against Tweed, who were semi-finalists last year. The Tigers, if they stay intact, they'll be strong, and I think I'm going to actually go with the Tigers to beat the Magpies here.
Yeah, I'm with you here, John. We're agreeing with this one.
Out.
How good.
Darling.
I'm going to go for the Tigers to beat the Magpies here. I know it's the Magpies' home ground, but it's in unfamiliar territory at Marsden State High, so I believe that unfamiliar ground is going to help the Tigers, and they'll get the chocolates.
Yep, they do a lot of trade.
Chocolates. Yeah, Everyone's getting the chocolates, apparently. They'll get the 2 points. There we go. I've changed it up.
Tigers, well, the Tigers, I mean, they do actually train down there at Marsden because obviously they're the Magpies train down there. Tigers, well, yeah, look, I'm going to go with Tigers. I think once they get a confidence, Darren Nichols and the boys and Will Samuel, I think they'll go a long way. Mate, we'll come back to the match of the round, but we're going to go with the Tweed Seagulls in the final game of the weekend, not the final game, but tipping up against the Falcons. Both sides strong semi-finalists, always in the top 6 or 7. Falcons too good last week against the Dolphins. I come against the Tweed Seagulls down at Pigabeen at home. Tweed unable to account for the Tigers. How do you see the Seagulls at home for the second week in a row?
I have the Tweed Seagulls getting this one up against the Falcons. Although the Falcons played very well against the Dolphins last weekend, kept them to a very tight score. I believe the Seagulls had a really cracking game against the East Brisbane Tigers. So I'm going to go with Seagulls to get the job done.
All right, Seagulls for me as well. So there you go. All right, the Devils, they're back home. They've gone up north. They are the premiers. They're first on the ladder. The Dolphins are sitting 13th. I don't think that was the way it'll stay throughout the season. This game is live, KO, 9 now and Q+. The Devils are at home after a big trip last week. Before we get stuck into that, you caught up with Cameron Cullen. We'll talk to what did Cam have to say about he wasn't there, so he's going to blame everyone else?
Yeah, he did blame everyone else. He said it's just, it's the whole situation. It's the whole club. They need me. They miss me. He even tried to throw me a contract. It all happened. But yes, I did catch up with Cameron, and this is what he had to say about this encounter. So, yes, as John mentioned, we're joined by Redcliffe Dolphins captain Cameron Cullen. Cullo, what's doing?
There you go, mate. Thanks for having me on.
That's all right. Thanks for coming on. Now, round one, we didn't see you feature for the Dolphins, so tell us what's happening over there in Cameron's world.
Mate, I was a late pullout, so I had a fitness run on Monday. I sort of rested me from the trials because I had a bit of a calf issue, and I did my fitness test on Monday, and it just pulled up no good. So they knocked it on the head, and I had to sit in the stands and watch for round one.
So if I'm hearing that correctly, you've had a pre-season injury that prevented you from doing full pre-season training, and it's just gone a little bit too long for your liking.
Yeah, I tried to time it perfectly to get back for round one, but I didn't. No good. I ended up missing round one as well. I'm still playing up a little bit, so I'm sort of touch and go for this weekend, but I guess we'll see how it pulls up.
Okay, you're not going to let any cats out of the bag tonight, are you?
No, we'll keep that secret, That Bryce Donovan might be listening in.
Mate, Bryce Donovan has been talking to me all week about taking your head off.
Perfect.
Which he's going to have to get down there.
Exactly.
Mates, I'll let you on a bit of a secret, Cullo. When you finish playing rugby league, you miss your mates a lot. It's one thing that happens is you miss seeing blokes around. But you're the only person I'm sick of seeing. I see Image Property absolutely everywhere with your head. Tell us about your business, mate. How's things going over at Image?
Yeah, it's going good. I made the decision to go out on my own under the Image Property banner about right when COVID hit. I remember the week, like literally we found out that there was something going on overseas and that there was this virus coming, and mate, phone stopped ringing, and it was probably a pretty scary decision. But then, I mean, everyone knows the property market since then has just gone crazy. So it turned out to be a bit of luck and a pretty good decision. And it's been going really good. I obviously focus a lot over on the peninsula, and it allows me to be sort of heavily involved with the community, and footy's part of that. But then I get to do it with real estate as well, so it's awesome. Yeah, mate, you're covering half your face there, Cameron. Move that finger if you can, please. We want to see the beautiful backdrop of Dolphin Oval. Is that where you are sitting there? I am. Dolphin Oval. How good. Mate, speaking of Dolphin Oval, NRL team rolling into town next year. Has Wayne said anything yet, or am I breaking news to you? Mate, it's pretty exciting, to be honest. Like, I think the buzz around the club, like everyone knowing that, the NRL's coming, it's been a pretty exciting preseason, and Wayne Bennett literally drops in here unannounced and sort of gives some of the boys tips, and it's pretty, like, he's got that aura about him, Wayne. Like, when he comes around, everyone sort of just stops and listens. So it's pretty exciting times for the club. I can't wait to see him run out next year, that's for sure. So, mate, you're pretty set up now with the Image stuff, and I know you love all that side of life. But are you telling me if Wayne Bennett can't find a 7 for 23, you're not putting your hand up? What's going on there? No, I don't think you could ever say no to Wayne Bennett. I think I'd be in pretty quickly. Yeah, absolutely. Mate, last week wasn't the best week for the Dolphins. Tough loss to the Falcons there. What was sort of said midweek in terms of reloading for this big clash against defending premiers Norths? Yeah, funny one. We haven't won round one at the Dolphins since, I think you were playing, or way before when you started, maybe 2016. I don't think maybe you're the curse, actually. 2016. Mate, 2020, we beat the Falcons round one before the season ended. Yeah, actually, you're right. COVID season is the only round one we've won in a long time. So it's been one of those things. I think we had a really good preseason. We're expecting to sort of turn up and play some good footy, and it just didn't happen like that. It's probably probably a good lesson for us early, to be honest, about being a little bit complacent. We had, Ben Murdoch, Masilla lining up in the front row, and a few of those really good Warriors boys dropping back. And, like I said, we had a really good preseason. So we're expecting to play much better footy than that. Didn't happen. So probably a good lesson for us. We got Norse, we got Burleigh, and then we got Wynnum in the next 3 weeks. So 3, top 4 teams in my opinion. So we've got to sort of bounce back pretty quickly, and that's the beauty about footy, I guess, is we can scrap that pretty quickly and move on to North this week.
Yes, mate, too right. It is a blockbuster couple of games for you guys. So hoping the Dolphins can pull it together and have a couple strong wins, and then find themselves snugly in that top 8 by the time the round 5 hits, quarter way through the comp. Now, something as well, Cameron, with yourself. When COVID hit, there was a lot of people, a lot of uncertainty around Brisbane, and a few things that happened. Now, I'm not going to say that you changed at that moment, because I believe ever since I've met you, you've always been a really good guy. But certainly something sparked inside you, and you've gone on to help people. You raised $20,000 for the Cronin family amongst that tragedy that happened to Mitch. And now you've got a Brisbane flood appeal happening as well. Talk us through the flood appeal and what's changed in Cameron Cullen to bring out the best side.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a bit of a weird feeling, and you're probably right. I think when all that, when things started to happen, it probably did, spark something in myself. Like, on the field, I'm pretty happy to stay out on the wing and watch you middles do all the hard work. But in real life, mate, I think when people are doing it tougher than me, I find it really hard to just sort of stand around and watch. And, I've sort of been through a lot of adversity myself. So that was probably what made me want to get involved with Mitch Cronin's family. I know the family personally, and that was sort of a no-brainer to just help wherever I could. But, with the stuff with the flood appeal, mate, same thing. I'm up in my house on the peninsula, high and dry and enjoying life up here. And it's really hard for me to log onto social media and see the people that are getting rescued from their homes, down, in Brisbane. There's heaps of places, but particularly sort of down south where I grew up, on the north coast, people, losing houses and going completely under. So it was really hard for me to sit around and watch. So, mate, I just wanted to do whatever I could. And probably the crazy thing is, it's social media, but it's just people, sort of power of the people in general, the amount of people that got involved. And like, we've got 20 auction items that are so, they're awesome items. We've got Cameron Munster's signed boots, Tom Travojevic signed footy boots. We got pretty much every jersey I can think of, Origin jerseys. We got flooring and day marlin fishing. Like, everyone that everyone in the community sort of just pitched together and donated money to a link. I sort of linked up with Fund My Challenge, a company that do this sort of stuff, and they've helped me be able to put it together. And then I'm running that fundraiser luncheon at Redcliffe League Club next Sunday. So that's probably the big thing, is all those auction iguitements. I've decided to go, you know what, we need to find a venue. We need to have a lunch and auction these things off. And I got the old big Wayne Bennett to be the guest speaker there. So he's probably going to sell a few seats for me, because it's going to be awesome. Like, it's going to be an awesome day next Sunday. I'm hoping to raise as much money as I possibly can for, people that need it. I know Liam Georgetown, who we both know, he was one of the guys that sort of got rescued from his home. And, there's a lot of stories out there that I've seen that I just want to do what I can, I guess. I know any little bit helps. So whatever we can do to help.
Yeah, mate, of course, people remember Liam Georgetown, prolific try scorer in the Hostplus Cup for many years. If you don't know where to find that link, we'll post that on our Facebook page so you can find that link. There's still a couple of seats left, I believe, Cullo, to hear Wayne Bennett hopefully he speaks a few words. He seems to be a man of little words, but hopefully he tries to find something from within there to stir the crowd and gets it all going. So, mate, thanks very much for coming on the Queensland League Scene. We appreciate it. We appreciate what you're doing in the community. You're not very inspiring on the field. You're a bit of a cat. But to see what you're doing now in the community, mate, it's awesome. So thank you very much, and thanks for coming on, and go the Dolphins this weekend.
Thanks, mate. Legend.
Cheers. Beautiful. Good to go.
All right, there's Cameron Cullen. You forgot to mention his boxing career, mate.
Oh, I didn't forget. I just didn't want to disappoint him too much.
What's his record? Is he none?
He had a loss
none
on
and 10?
He had a loss on the week, and I don't mean to bring up all these other losses.
Too soon? Oh, never mind. All right, the Devils up against the Dolphins, mate. I know you're a Dolphins former player, but I really find it hard for them to bounce back against this Devils side. Jack Ahearn, they're really strong. Rushin, Denny, these guys are starting to fire. Matt Milson's at the back here. He had a strong game scored as well. I think the Devils are a confident side. Rowan Smith has got these guys humming early. And, I'm going to go with the Devils win on this one. They'll go 2 from 2.
Yeah, well, mate, funny you say that. My answer might surprise you this week. I'm going to go with the Dolphins to get the Devils in this matchup over there at Bishop Park. Yeah. I think they'll right their wrongs from last weekend. Scotty Murray will get stuck right into the boys, and you'll find we'll beat the first team to beat the Premiers in 2022 will be the Redcliffe Dolphins.
Well, I caught up with Jack Ahearn. He's on his launch. He's got about 3 or 4 of these boats. He's actually doing a great job there. But Jack Ahearn, a great man, great player. And here's what Jack had to say about their trip to Townsville and how they think they'll go against the Dolphins this weekend.
Well, this is Queensland League Scene, and we're actually on the set of Jaws 7 featuring Jack Ahearn. How are you, Jack?
Good, thanks. Good. Yeah, just enjoying a bit of fishing, deep sea fishing, catching some dinner for the week for the kids. So, going all right.
I don't think I've ever seen a devil on the water, but anyway, that's another story. So anyway, hey, listen, last week the season started, obviously, with the Hostplus Cup up against the Townsville Blackhawks. Mate, a tough travel for you guys because you had to leave that morning because of COVID restrictions, and then you had to come back that night. That's a tough day up in the north. Obviously, you're still there fishing, but for the rest of them, it was a hard day, but a good result.
Yeah, that's right. It was a fairly long day with all the new travel guidelines, I suppose, that we have. We were in at Norths at 8:30 to do all our rat testing and that, and on the plane at 10:30, and I think we got there about 12:30. Had lunch on the way there, played at 3, and our plane was delayed coming home, so I didn't walk in my front door till about 2:30 Monday morning AM. So bit of a struggle getting up for work on Monday, but it was a pleasing result. Everyone played really well.
One thing I did notice about that game against the Blackhawks, there's a lot of players. North have the affiliate with Valleys and West, but there are most of your tries are scored by players who've actually played the BRL recently.
Yeah, it's what we have at North is like a big squad, and it's all a squad effort. We did that last year, and we've started off on that foot again this year. Everyone contributing.
All right, the Blackhawks, no easy task, mate. You must be pretty happy with that result. It was a pretty good margin too.
Yeah, it was good. The boys played well, and in the conditions up there too. Round one's always fatiguing, and that played a factor up there, especially in the heat. So. Yeah, very pleasing with the way the boys performed.
What was your what was the most pleasing part? Obviously, defence was one, which was something that you did well last year. But was that the most pleasing part of your game last week?
Yeah, for sure. Just the connection in defence, and then on the offensive side, little combos that we've been working on all pre-season, last year too, and just kind of flowed nicely without too many mistakes. So it was a nice. Foundation for this season.
Yeah, they scored at the back end, but I suppose Rowan wouldn't be too happy with that. But, I mean, it was a long day and you already have the points in the bag. You're up against Redcliffe, and they looked great on paper last week, but the Falcons taught them a lesson. The paper that means nothing. They'll be smart, won't they, the Finns?
Yeah, we're expecting a physical encounter. It's always a physical game against them. We got them 2:00 on Sunday, so... Yeah, expecting nothing short of a physical matchup, especially in that forward pack there.
Yeah, it's a KO match of the round, obviously, on 9 now. But how do you approach – it's obviously got a long break between hand, but how do you switch off from playing the Blackhawks, who are a very physical side, but Redcliffe have got this really wild backline? How about Trey Fuller and company? It's going to be a handful.
Yeah, he's very dangerous. He's, one to watch for them. And Shane out of 9, and they got some strike out wide, and Jeremy Hawkins too. So they got talent all across the park, and some big boys coming back from the Warriors that really beef up their middle. So it's going to be a test, and one we're looking forward to for sure.
Last year, the Devils didn't have a lot of players going up to NRL. So there was always those combinations, and you were pretty lucky with injuries as well, Jack, I think is fair to say. So you had that nucleus of players all year. You lost Michael Molo, obviously he's been promoted. But if you can keep that core going, there's no reason why the Devils can't go back-to-back.
Yeah.
Hang on, no, I won't talk about that. I can't see why there's no reason why you guys can't go deep into the competition. There you go.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah, well, the core group there that I suppose Rose put together, a lot of us have been there, from when he first came as well. So like myself, Mikey Seo and Moses were all there in 2018, and then he's added players to that, and, they've been around as well, like Connor Broadhurst and Frizy were in 19, and we just kept that core group through, and the relationship and connection and trust we have with each other, it just, filters throughout whoever he brings in, and everyone really buys into what Rose done there.
Yeah. Rowan doesn't watch this show. Where would you prefer to play, mate, in the halves or a fullback?
Is he watching or is he not?
No, he doesn't watch. He hates me.
If he's not, wherever the team needs me.
Oh, cliche. Look at this, mate. You should be in Canberra. But to be honest, you're one of the tallest halves in the game. But I think at the spine, wherever you pop up, Jack, your football seems to be going next level. Like, I really hope there's an NRL knock on the door, although this fishing thing in the background, he's probably going to, you might get the Cowboys gig. But, yeah, it's good to have those different quivers in your bow or whatever it is, to have those certain talents in the spine.
Yeah, I think wherever I play, I think just the more I'm mature, I'm getting on the older side of the age scale now, but I don't feel that in the body. I feel like, my mind is maturing and I can, see the game and really, I suppose, work out what we need rather than what can we try, And I feel like I'm just maturing in that sense and really reading the game as I progress in my journey, I suppose. We'll say that.
Yeah, there you go. Lovely. Hey, will we ever see you wearing the number 13?
I might have to wrestle it off Mikey Seo, or I know Bryce Donovan wants to put that on his back too. So I'll let them two fight it out for now, and we'll see what the season brings.
All right, yeah. Well, this weekend a great clash, and I think the clash of the ground will be between Cameron Cullen and Bryce Donovan. Great ball runners. They don't overplay their hand. They use their forwards nicely. I think it's going to be a great contest. Yeah, the old cliche, win it up the front here, but if you've got good direction from your halves, it goes a long way. And I think it'll be a crackerjack game between two iconic clubs. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, to the halves, steering both teams around well, and then strike at the back with Trey Fuller and Matty Milson for us, and our nines as well will be a good battle as well with Kieran Mosley and Shane Pumapi. So looking forward to it. Should be a good Northside Derby, I suppose you call it. Yeah. All right, live this Sunday afternoon on Q Plus and KO9 now. Jack Ahearn, we'll let you get back. Those rods haven't moved, mate. You're pretty ordinary. I might have to rebait them or something. Put some bait on them at all. But anyway, see you go. Well, all your best, Jack, and thanks for your time, mate. And good luck with the Devils this year. Thank you. Thanks for having me, John. Yeah, we put our tips in. It should be a ripper.
It will be a ripper of a weekend, mate. A ripper of a round 2 for the Hostplus Cup. And, of course, round 1 for the BMD QRLW Premiership. We're all excited to see how these two competitions go over the weekend and then leading into the Hastings-Deerings Colts following that. All right, well, we're going to thank our guests, of course, yours. We've got to thank Jack Madden. We've got to talk to Cameron Cullen. Great initiative. That again, tickets, mate? Yeah, tickets for Cameron Cullen and his fundraiser will be posted on our website. Yep. So if you want to get there and book a table, listen to Wayne Bennett speak. Lots of prizes on offer up there. So make sure you head to the Facebook page. There'll be a link and get a seat while you can. Yeah, Kimi Hunt from the Winnemanley Seagulls, the QRLW, as you mentioned, sponsored by BMD this weekend, and also a good chat there with... You covered Jack Ahearn, you covered Cullo, you covered Kimi. Lee Addison, I spoke to Lee, our mate from Is that all it was? Yeah, just our mate from England, Lee. All right, well, there you go. We're back next week. Enjoy your footy, get out there and watch some great footy.